Hello again, my little state troops, and welcome to another Mordian Glory, the Old World video. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at how you can get a full 2,000 point Empire army for under £100. I assure you, this is no clickbait title. We're not looking at 3D printing or anything like that. This is plastic models, new on sprue, available right now. But let's not mess around anymore. Let's grab our spears, hold the line, and march right into today's episode. Attention conscripts, I am excited to announce the launch of the official second Mordian Glory channel. If you're curious, click on the link down in the description and head over to Mordian Glory Games. I upload to the channel several times a week with all sorts of fun and silly gaming content. So if you're jonesing for even more Mordian Glory content, then head on over to Mordian Glory Games and don't forget to subscribe. Now, first things first, we need to address the elephant in the room. These models are not coming from Games Workshop. But before you all click off this video and go down to the comment section and say that Fraudian Glory has bamboozled me and that he's a great big fat phony, hang on. Firstly, the models are coming from a good company and a reputable source. And secondly, I have seen the models that we're about to go through built up and painted in old world colors, used on picture battle reports, and they just look great. In fact, the inspiration for this video came from several members of the Mordian Glory community who have done just that. And I thought it was such a good idea that I had to make a video about it. With all of that said, and hopefully with my ass thoroughly covered, let's get into the good bit and look at the models and the box set that's going to allow us to build this Empire army. Let me introduce you to the Landsknecht Starter Army by Warlord Games. This is for their pike and shot system, which is a good game in its own right. Now, the Landsknecht were actually a historical force of soldiers which the Empire state troops are heavily influenced by. For example, you'll see on these models all of the poofy sleeves, guns, and giant cod pieces that any Empire army could hope to have. In this box, you are going to get 96 plastic Landsknecht pikemen with full command options, 24 plastic Landsknecht with Zweihanders, 24 plastic Landsknecht with crossbows or handguns, a metal handbush light gun and crew, and 4 metal officers, plus a full color flag sheet. So if you're not a big fan of transfers or freehanding your banners, you can get some very detailed ones straight out of this box. So the big question is, how do we take all of these models and translate them over to the old world and the Empire? Well, some of them are fairly obvious and straightforward. The plastic pikemen will make for great state troops armed with spears. The Landsknecht with the Zweihanders will make fantastic greatswords. And then the infantry with the handguns and crossbows can be Empire missile state troops. Where things might get a little trickier is with the handbush light gun. There isn't really a direct translation for it over in Old World because the Empire get great cannons. If Empire had regular cannons, this would probably be a good stand-in for it. Now, I think if you're just getting started out and you're playing with friends, that you could probably get away with this being a cannon. Just to have a go with it and see how you find the cannon rules. But I think a very clever way of using this light gun is actually as an engineer with a Hochland long rifle. As for the metal officers, 2 of them come armed with pistols and full plate armor, and they would make for cracking generals of the Empire. You've also got a chap who's wearing a rather flamboyant uniform with a big floppy hat and a purple cape, who I actually think would make for a really good wizard. He definitely is the most garishly dressed out of all of these officers, and just having him run around as a battle wizard and painting him up in bright red colors could definitely get you a magic user out of this set. And finally, you've got another officer in there who's also not wearing a lot of armor, who I reckon you could get away with either as a second wizard or you could go for a captain of the Empire out of this box. In fact, I have thrown together a 2,000 point army based on all of these models. So in the core selection, we've gone for 4 units of state troops, 24 state troops in each one. And each one of these state troops is coming with thrusting spears, light armor, shields, and full command. Now, I will admit, I have cheated a little bit with the shields because the Landschaft with pikes don't actually come with shields. You could take the shields away and it would end up freeing about 96 points up. But to be fair, those pikes are a bit bigger than your regular spears. And I like to think that the extra spears and the extra length and all that could easily translate into a better defensive stat line with the light armor and shields. Also, it wouldn't be the end of the world to actually fashion a few shields or get some third-party ones as well, if you are a stickler for the details. We've also got the 24 missile state troops, which can all be equipped with handguns, and you've got the 24 Empire greatswords, which I have given, obviously, the great weapons, the full plate armor, the full command as well, and this is something that I genuinely like to do with my greatswords, is I've put the Ruby Ring of Ruin on the Count Champion because he can take up to 50 points of magical gear, and it's great to have a unit leader that can just spam out an extra fireball. As for the characters, I went for the Empire Engineer with Hot Long Rifle, using that light gun, and then I went for a General of the Empire with full plate armor, shield, bracer pistols, and sword of battle. I went for another General of the Empire with full plate armor, duelist blades, and the white cloak. I went for a Captain of the Empire, and I had him with the BSB, with the war banner, sword of might, and talisman of protection. And then I went for a Wizard Lord with lore familiar. And I want to assure you all, none of this stuff has been stat padded out. If you've ever watched any of my battle reports, what I've really done there is literally taken the characters that I pretty much take in my nice, fluffy Empire state troop based army, and I've been able to recreate all of them using models from this big box. If you build your army with everything that I have just described, it will come to 1,977 points. And we have got plenty of wiggle room in there. We haven't upgraded any of the state troops to veteran state troops. We haven't put drilled or veteran on the Empire greatswords. We've been very, very careful with the equipment to make sure there's lots of wiggle room and to make sure that we're not just stat padding to build a technically 2,000 point list, but one which actually, if you took the upgrades you would actually take, would be a lot less. This is not padded out in any way, shape, or form. Now, if what I've said has caught your interest and you've got a bit of a tickle in your pickle and you want to pick up this box set, you can do so from Element Games for £96. That is 10% off the usual price. And I have an affiliate link down in the description below, and I have a referral code which will help you save even more money in the long run. If this box set is not available from Element Games in your country, don't worry, I also have an affiliate link for Warlord Games where you can buy this box directly and they will ship anywhere in the world. By using either one of those affiliate links, you will be getting your models and you will be supporting the channel. However, I know there are going to be a lot of people from the passionate old world community that are going to be thoroughly unimpressed with this box and with that army list. I can predict right now there are a lot of people typing down the comment section, this is a trash list, it's unoptimized, and things to that effect. I know this is going to happen because I got all sorts of comments like that on the 2,000 point chaos army for under 100 quid video that I did recently. If you've not seen that video, I'll make sure there's a link to it down in the description below. And I just want to take a moment to address those comments. You are right. This is not an optimized Empire army. And if you were to take this into a tournament, you would probably not do very well. But I would also like to remind you guys that firstly, not every single army is going to be taken into a tournament. the vast majority of games that people play of Old World are against their friends and against their mates down the local club, and are often also going to be against other people's unoptimized lists, because for a lot of people, Old World is the secondary game. They have games like 40k, which is their main squeeze, and then they use Old World as a little bit of a palate cleanser, and so you'll have an optimized list smashing into each other. Another thing to remember is that this is an army list for 2,000 points that for as cheap as possible. And so, of course, if you're taking budget into account, you're not always going to be able to get all the best options that you want. Of course, if you spent 2 or 3 times the amount, you could probably get yourself a much more optimized Empire army, but it's going to cost you 2 or 3 times the amount. And for a lot of people, that's not an option. And for a lot of other people who have this as a secondary game, they don't want to necessarily invest in another GW game system, like with 40k, which can be very, very expensive if you buy anything new from GW. This is a way of getting a secondary game for a good price point. But if none of those things are swaying you and you remain unconvinced, well, there is a way of buying another box that makes this army quite a bit more viable. Let me introduce you to the Pike and Shot Ordnance Battery. This is a bundle of artillery which you can get for Warlord Games, and you save a bit of money on buying them individually. You get 2 models which could easily be used to represent great cannons, and you also get a mortar in there. This would give you some much needed firepower to support those Empire state troops. Of course, if you do get the artillery battery, you are going to be spending a bit more than just the 96 quid box from Element Games, but it's still going to come in at way, way cheaper than buying a full 2,000 point Warhammer 40k army or Old World army directly from Games Workshop. However you slice it, being able to play more games and have more fun with more models for a good price point is going to be a win. Well, at least that's what I think. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Does this box set really appeal to you? Is it something that you would be interested in getting? Or are you a GW purist? You just like to have those old school Games Workshop models and you're just going to wait for the Empire Battalion to come out. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just really curious to see how this lands with the community. So don't forget to get those thoughts down in that comment section. And if you enjoyed today's video, smash that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, because I'm kind of interested in doing some more of these budget army videos, then subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.